Okay. So it cut me off. So we're just gonna keep on doing 5 minute chunks. Woo, this is gonna be so fun. Okay, so what I was saying is Jane Addams is what we would consider to be a progressive. So that's a person who focuses on these reform movements. So if I'm asking you, like in the assignment, it says which progressive would have been involved in this reform, that it's just the person who is involved in the reform. So the next thing we're looking at is segregation. So as we're trying to improve all of these things, as we're trying to improve working conditions and conditions for the people in the city and all of those things, um, conditions in the South are getting worse for the Blacks. So remember we talked about the Black codes right after Reconstruction that the South put in place. So now those have evolved into what we call Jim Crow laws. So those Jim Crow laws were created to prevent Blacks from participating in the political process, and it extended to segregation. So it basically said Blacks can't go in certain places. Blacks can't share a water fountain with whites. They can't share restaurants with whites. So facilities were supposed to be separate but equal, but of course they really weren't. So the Supreme Court case Plessy versus Ferguson is the one. Sorry, my child is climbing in the background. So the Supreme Court case Plessy versus Ferguson was the first court case to rule that the separate but equal was legal. So basically what you have is Homer Plessy. That's that guy at the top of this PowerPoint, this picture. He was 1/8 Black. Yeah, that guy's 1/8 Black. Like, he doesn't even look it to me. But he sat in a white train car and he got arrested for that. And so he takes his case all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rules that it was okay for him to be arrested. So it basically ruled that this whole segregation thing, this whole separate but equal, was okay. So that's going to strengthen those Jim Crow laws. So in response to that, we have groups like the NAACP that get formed. So that's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And so they're getting formed. They're considered another progressive group. Yeah, I know. They're considered another progressive group, and they're fighting for full social and economic equality, like the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments lay out. So they want to really get the rights that the Blacks were guaranteed in those three amendments pushed through through political action. So these progressives, in order to get all of their stuff passed, like they're wanting to pass all of these laws, they realize that they need more power. So there's a couple of legal actions that took place at this time. So you've got it says the progressive movement wanted to enable greater political participation on the federal and state level. So before this, the 17th Amendment, before the 17th Amendment, basically the state governments picked their own senators. We didn't vote on them. So people came in and said that is corrupt, and we need to be able to hold our senators accountable, so we need to be able to vote for them. So the 17th Amendment was created, and so that means that we, the people in the state, are the ones who vote for the senators. And then with the initiative and referendum, what you can do is an initiative is where an average everyday citizen like you or me can draw up a state law, and if you get so many people to approve it or sign it or whatever, then you could take it to a referendum, which is where it gets voted on, and you can actually suggest and approve state laws as a citizen, as an everyday citizen. And then the recall allows the voters to remove officials before their term is up. So by passing these things, they're able to get a lot more power to the voters. And so they're able to pass a whole bunch more legislation. And so during the progressive era, we're going to see things passed like child labor laws. So before this, there was no child labor law. Like, you could work as young as you could walk, basically. And so now they're going to pass where you